sit back and collect gold.
Alright, so this is take number 8. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Aries here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making this video on something a little more serious than reactions or reviews and stuff like that. Ever since I started YouTube, I probably should have kind of brought this to the light before anything. It's hot in here. Give me 1 second. Alright, so hopefully that doesn't kill my sound too much, but there's this secret that I've been kind of holding on to for the past 7-8 years, and I feel like because of this I have not been able to do YouTube to my fullest potential, or to my fullest as of right now. But before I actually get into that, I feel like you guys don't really know me as a person. I kind of feel like that should have been like my very first video, just to get you guys kind of hooked on who I am as a person. So, hi, my name is Anthony. I'm a 27-year-old. I work in the restaurant business, so I love working around food. I love eating food. I'm an inner fat boy. Hashtag inner fat boy. And I'm an introvert. I'm very introverted. I'm not a social person. I don't really like going out as much. I'll go out sometimes, but if I do, it's usually by myself. For those of you who don't know what an introvert is basically somebody who feeds off of their own energy. They get energized. In a certain way, they get energized from being by themselves, and by being in big crowds kind of drains them of that energy, so they kind of confine themselves into like their own little world, basically, is what an introvert is. They're not social butterflies. They're not somebody who can just walk up to you and start a conversation. We're kind of shy and reserved, and well, me, at least me, the way I am. I'm an artist. I like to draw. I like to make things with my hand. I like to do things with my hand, which is why I kind of picked up a guitar, which I haven't really been focused on and really dedicated to, because there have been things that's been holding me back. Oh, this one thing that's been holding me back. What else? I mean, it's not. I'm a very simple person. It's not much to know about me, but there's a lot to the simple things about me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm simple, but I'm complicated. But nowadays, who isn't really complicated? I first wanted to start YouTube about, I'm gonna say 8 years ago. About 8 years ago is when I wanted to start YouTube, but I've never had the confidence to actually start it. Or if I had the confidence to start it, I never had the equipment. Like my game system, I never knew how to. I never had the equipment to upload my gameplays to YouTube, or never really had the opportunity, I would say, to basically put myself out there on YouTube. So that, and the fact that I'm very shy, and I kind of care about what others think of the stuff that I put out and stuff like that, so that kind of also stopped me as well. So, but I had to get over that eventually if I'm gonna do YouTube. So that's just the base about me. I don't know, I mean, I might make another video of myself later on after this video, because this is something I really need to get off of my chest, that I feel like is really stopping me from going further with my YouTube channels, or any content in general, whether it's my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook. I need to learn how to put my live, like how to broadcast live on Facebook. So if anybody knows how to do that from a system, comment down below, because I think I have more of an audience on Facebook than I do on YouTube, or at least from what I've seen. Yeah, so okay. Now for me, this is really hard, because this is something that I've always been afraid to kind of come out about with my journey through life, because most people would think, oh, you need to, or you're sick, or it's nothing wrong with you, you need to snap out of it. What I'm referring to is depression. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know somebody who you've probably said the same thing. Oh, snap out of it. or it's not that big of a deal, or to you it may not be that big of a deal because you're on the outside. You can't see what's internally going on or what's mentally going on. Because a person with depression, it's not just, the signs aren't just, cutting yourselves or suicide notes or committing suicide. It's little things like getting out of bed can be a struggle. Eating can be like having an appetite. Like you can be hungry and then just not want to eat because you just don't want to move or do anything. Hygiene can be a big thing. It's so many little signs that people overlook, thinking that, oh, this person's lazy. No, they just may be going through some things that you don't know about. And with me, my depression kind of stems from when I was a kid, but it got to severe depression when 2011, I lost my mom to cancer. And because of the things that kind of happened throughout that time, that I'm not really going to get into too much, I feel like I could have kind of prevented at least the cancer from spreading so fast, or I could have done something, like I could have stopped her from smoking or stopped her from taking certain medications and stuff like that she really didn't need, that I feel like she could have been here now. So I was 19 when my mom passed away, and ever since then it's really been a struggle to kind of get through day-to-day things. Yes, 2019 is 8 years ago, but when you lose somebody like your mother, that's or anybody who you can't replace, that's something that you can't really get over. It doesn't really get easier, it really doesn't get harder. You're kind of stuck in this limbo kind of thing, to where it's like, I don't know, like I said, it's not too hard, it's not easy to get over, it's not hard, it's not easy to deal with, and it's not, hard to get over. It's just something that you just kind of stuck with. And with me being her only child, it really, really impacted me more, because I felt like that's the only person who really understood me as a person. Like, my mom knew me. She knew, even though me and her really didn't see eye to eye on certain things, or like she would do things that kind of just made me embarrassed, like any other kid. She knew me more than anybody else could ever know me. And I feel like once you lose that, you kind of lose all train of thought when it comes to your person. When I say that, like, you will say like no one really understands you, or no one will really have the patience to deal with you, or no one just understands, because once you have that one person that really understands you and you lose them, it's like there's never going to be another person. Just so you know, this is not scripted. This is just me speaking off the top of my head, off my mind, off my heart, or whatever you guys want to call it. So if it seems a little dragged out or a little cringy, I do apologize, because this is something I feel like I need to get off of my chest. So my mom actually was the only person that supported me in the things that I wanted to do, and YouTube being one of them. So when she passed, I kind of felt like the things that she supported me on, I should start doing. My mom was my number one supporter. I remember in high school, during the Martin Luther King parade, I was in ROTC at the time, so we would march for about an hour and a half down a little road or whatever. My mom started from the start point of where the parade started all the way to the end, to where we would get on our buses and go back to the school to go home. Mind you, that's about 3-4 miles, and it's like 90 degree, not 90, but like 80 something degree weather, and she's walking right next to me, in like not in the parade but on the outside, taking pictures of me. Meanwhile, the rest of my family didn't come out to see me. None of my friends came out to see me, but my mom was there. My mom was there through everything, like my first girlfriend, my first heartbreak, my first job. She was there when I graduated. And I know a lot of people can't really say that, because some people lost their moms or lost their parents at a very young age, and they never really got to experience the sensation you get of seeing your parents there with you when certain things like that happen. So when my mom passed, this is the part that kind of really gets to me. I kind of felt like it was my fault. Like I kind of take blame for what happened. Like I said, I feel like certain medications that she would take, like antidepressants or whatever they may have been, I'm not sure. I feel like I could have stopped her from taking them, or I could have stopped her from smoking, or I could have stopped her from drinking so much. And I think my mom dealt with depression too, which is why she drank so much. And the things that she was going through didn't really help her situation either. So my mom didn't really have any family. All of her siblings passed away except for her sister and her sister's family. She lost her mom, she lost both of her other sisters, she lost her brother, and we don't really know where the rest of her family is besides the ones that I know. So being that my mom was so close to my dad's side of the family, I kind of felt bad, because it's like, somebody like her should have more, like she should have more people in her circle to, like, as far as family, like we don't know where her family is, but I'm not trying to digress. I'm gonna digress from that. But once my mom passed and I felt like I had something to do with it, my depression kind of really stemmed. Like there's only maybe 2 people who know that I feel like I had an involvement with my mom passing. It doesn't make sense to you guys, because like again, you don't really know the whole thing of what happened. Like I said, there was just things that happened. Like she took certain medications, or I feel like she could have not drank so much, or she could have not stopped smoking, or I could have done something to have her here today. And the longer that festered in me and not really telling anybody, the more and more I kind of got into a depression, which is why I got into my deep depression, my severe depression. And that's when I started to have suicidal thoughts. I started to, like I said, the signs of depression, not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to eat. I would purposefully starve myself for a week and a half, 2 weeks, with just nothing to eat at all, just drink water. Alright, so apparently my camera decided to die. Yeah. So I would starve myself for weeks. I wouldn't eat, I would barely sleep. I started to have insomnia, and it's so much that kind of came with me feeling like I'm responsible for her death, that, hold on, let me kind of, there we go, to where it kind of felt like I said, I felt like I was the reason why she passed. And I would get angry, I would get frustrated, I would get upset, which is why that is the way it is. No, actually, I was moving this desk out of there, and that kind of messed that up. But I did punch holes in walls. I started drinking again, and I went to 3 different psychiatrists, 3 different specialists, and it didn't help. So one of them told me, I have to find some type of outlet, because otherwise I'm basically gonna end up, really doing something to myself. And there were times to where there were failed attempts. Like I would try to overdose on pills, or like I said, I would, not eat to the point to where I would just get so weak that I can't stand up. And it's really sad. I've had my stomach pumped 3 times. And it's thinking about it now, it's really stupid of me to do, because I would be sitting there thinking like, what would my mom think if she was here? Like I would probably get the butt whooping of a lifetime. But at the same time, I kind of felt like maybe if I was gone, or I wasn't, maybe if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't have these thoughts anymore. So, which is why I tried to, but at the same time, now that I'm thinking about it, well, now after it passed, it's like I shouldn't be doing this because my mom was my main supporter, and I should be doing the things that she supported me in. So when I finally gained the courage to do my YouTube channel, which was about maybe a little over a year ago, actually, I was excited because, you know, I'm finally making a step forward in progress to where it was something my mom supported me in. So I was like, okay, well, you know, this is progress. And the longer I did it, I was happy, you know, excited that I made this channel. But then after a while, I sunk back into my depression. I started to doubt myself again. I started to have these suicidal thoughts. And with me not really trusting anybody, it ruined a lot of my life. It made me act out in certain ways. It made me ruin some very healthy relationships that I could have had. There were two that I actually could have kept. And to those, I do want to say that I'm sincerely sorry for all the things that I put you through, all the hurt that I've given you. It wasn't anything you did. It was something I was dealing with personally, and I've tried to push it to the back of my mind and actually enjoy the relationships that I had, but they somehow end up stemming out, and I acted out, and I did a lot of wrong things. I said a lot of hurtful things. So I do want to apologize for those relationships I have ruined personally. It just kind of hurts knowing that depression can make you do things like that without you even realizing it. I ended up speaking to a specialist, and they basically told me, like, yeah, you know, your depression, kind of like when a child has doesn't get their way, they throw fits. And with me, once I'm into a really like happy, serious relationship, it makes me think like, dang, like I wish my mom was here to meet this person. And I'm not gonna say, I just need to say, like I said, I'm very sorry. I'm gonna just throw out little nicknames. Hopefully, you know, they see it, or they see this video. Drop Shot Queen. I'm sorry for everything. And to LMBO, like LMBO, she know who she is. I'm sorry for everything, you know. And I feel like I had a lot of thinking, I had a lot of maturing, and a lot of decisions I had to make with myself, as far as my conflict internally, to be able to progress forward with anything that I'm doing in my life. So with that actually being said, I've come to the conclusion to where I feel like I'm a little better now. Especially with this video, hopefully I can actually be a lot better. Because saying things like expressing how I feel is very dangerous for me, because you never know how a person. I have a fidget to where if I'm talking about something that gets to me, I have to mess with something. But my feelings can get very, very like dangerous, I'm gonna say, because there's been times where I'm not really stable mentally, and I just break down. Like I just break down out of nowhere. I don't like this work. I break down out of nowhere, and no one knows why, and I can't express why, because I'm either afraid that a person's either gonna laugh at me and think it's just like a joke or something, or they're not really gonna care, thinking, oh well, you need to snap out of it. There's been times where I've actually dealt with that in my workplaces, to where they told me to just kind of snap out of it and get into a better mood. which I feel like is kind of very unsensitive, especially in the workplace when you have your employees kind of feeling some type of way, and then you come down on them like that, and it makes them feel kind of worse. So it's kind of like you don't really care about them. You just care enough to get them through the work day. But that's, like I said, a whole different story. I don't know. I just wish I wasn't so broken, you know. And I've always been afraid to kind of admit. I've always been afraid to admit that I'm broken, for the fact that no one wants to deal with a broken person. Nobody wants to deal with anybody that's broken in any way, shape, or form. Because that means they'd have to do extra work. Or how certain people say they don't want to have to babysit. I feel like if people had a better understanding of what depression was, then maybe they would, I don't know, maybe they would have more patience, and a lot of relationships and a lot of relations between people would be different if people actually took the time out to care about the person who's trying to get to know them. Like I said, I'm sorry if this is kind of just dragging on and kind of just hopping from thing to thing. It's just something that whatever's coming to my mind, I'm kind of thinking of. But the main premise of this video was to bring awareness to not only my depression, but to people of depression, period. We have to, I know there's at least every person that watching this video, I know there's a person that you know that either struggles to get out of bed, who isn't always happy throughout the day, who may hurt themselves, who may drink a lot, who may smoke a lot, who may not necessarily smoke a lot, because people smoke just to smoke for the heck of it. But if people have signs of depression, don't tell them to snap out of it. Don't ignore it. Like, try to understand why they're depressed. Make them happy. Because being honest, it literally takes one person to give a depressed person all their time and attention that can stop that person from wanting to kill themselves. You don't know what a person is going through mentally. You don't know what a person is going through emotionally. And we as human beings can be very, very hurtful when we're dealing with sensitive people, like those who have depression. I know I'm one of them. I'm a very sensitive person, very, very sensitive when it comes to those that I care about. When they tell me certain things like that, it is very hurtful. So I don't know. I just lost all train of thought. My mind just kind of just exploded just now. But yeah, my depression is something that held me back from doing YouTube. It held me back from really learning how to play the guitar. It held me back from learning how to, play the drums. It stopped me from drawing again. It stopped me from doing so much, and it ruined a lot of good relationships with a lot of, not a lot of good relationships. It ruined the few good relationships that I did have. And in a way, as weird as this may say, someone actually brought it to my attention. They said it as a joke a couple years ago, but not having, a person to really bring home to mom, well, not really having a mom to bring someone home to, can really impact a person, because your mom is usually the one that kind of has like that final say so. Like, if your mom likes the person, then the person's cool. If your mom don't like the person, then you got a problem. And I feel like my most recent serious relationships within the past like 4 or 5 years, I have not been able to do that, and it hurts because I know for a fact my mom would have absolutely loved those people. And it's sad because of that, I guess I could develop mommy issues. I guess not in the sense of like some wanting somebody to, well, yeah, kind of, sort of. So like having someone to like give you that attention that your mom used to give you. You know, I'm a very affectionate person, and my mom used to smother me in affection. So you know, it kind of makes me act out when I don't get certain affection and stuff like that, which is why I said, you know, because of the depression, because of my mom passing, and me feeling like I had something to do with it, made me act out in a certain kind of way. And to LMBO and to Drop Shot Queen, it basically is the kind of same thing, but now showing all that attention and not feeling like you really getting enough wasn't on their part. It was more of a personal, internal thing. So like I said, I do want to say sorry to those two specifically. And I hope you don't hate me too much, you know, because that's usually when those people you really deeply care about. My eczema is flaring up and it's right below my belly button. And it's always those who you really deeply care about when you end up kind of messing things up with that affect you the most, and you kind of have to deal with the fact that you ruined those kind of, you know, relationships. But I don't want to do this. I don't want to draw this on too long. I don't want to end up breaking down again. I've actually tried to do this. What time is it? So I've been at this for about 2.5 hours. This is my 8th take, I think, 7 or 8. The first 3 I couldn't speak. I couldn't get it through. The other 3 I just broke down. I just broke down to like the middle of them, and I couldn't just finish it. So this is hopefully the last take, and I can actually publish this and actually get this done. So like I said, I just want to say sorry to those who I've hurt. I genuinely do apologize. And it affected me more than I thought it did. It affected me a lot more. I thought somebody was at my window. It affected me more than I thought it did, because there was things that I was doing without even realizing it. That now that I'm sitting here and I'm looking back, and I spent, you know, days without sleeping thinking about it, makes sense now. Yeah, I guess they can say I had mommy issues, kind of, in a way. But yeah, so to those two specifically, which I feel like could have been, you know, lifelong relationships, or, you know, at least 7-year relationships, I do want to say sorry. And to anybody else that I've hurt, friends, family, whatever it may be, because I know, I'm pretty sure one of my family members are going to be on YouTube and they see my face and they're going to hear that I basically tried to, you know, off myself. I'm going to get the talk of a lifetime. But yeah, it's, now that I'm thinking about it, it's very scary, because what if I didn't wake up? You know, what if my roommate didn't, you know, have this urge to, you know, bust into my room and see me on the floor foaming at the mouth, you know? And it's a very scary thought, because like I said, you never know what a person is going through. Like I've had multiple roommates, and no one's ever known my depression to even go this far. My relationships didn't even know it. I've been too afraid, because I'm the kind of person, I don't really like to be judged or be considered as sick or psychotic or whatever people want to try and label you as. And because of that, I just haven't had the strength to tell anybody. But I felt like if I'm going to try and pursue something with YouTube, or if I'm going to try and pursue anything with my hobbies, that I need to get this off my chest, so that way, you know, hopefully I can feel like I have a burden lifted off, like weights lifted off of my shoulder, to where I can actually move forward in my life. Same thing with my photography. I haven't done much photography in a while. I think the last one that I did was the 10-year challenge, but that was it. But if you guys know somebody who's suffering from depression, try to be there for them, because you never know what they're dealing with. Maybe they just might need that one friend to make them for them to go from thinking suicidal to having positive thoughts, to being happy, because they can literally be on the verge of working with you 1 minute, and then the next minute they don't show up. The next 2 days they don't show up. Then you see on the news 3 days later that same employee, the same employee that you told to just snap out of it or to just get over it, committed suicide. Depression is not a joke. Depression is something that is very real, which is why literally hundreds, if not thousands of people from America would go to Japan just to go to the suicide forest. To this day, there are still some people that are missing. To this day, there are people who commit suicide in the United States who still aren't found, who just vanish, disappear. So, if you see somebody's having a bad day, be that shoulder they can lean on. Be that one friend that can put a smile on their face. Because you don't know what they're going through mentally. You don't know what they're going through emotionally. They could, like I said, they could be on the verge of just like that, and you would never know. And if you were that person that basically told them off, cussed them out, and said, "Oh, you need to grow up," and then you find out the next day that they passed, you're gonna feel like an ass. And then you would have to deal with that for the rest of your life, knowing that if you were just a little bit nicer to that person, maybe they wouldn't have did that. You'd have had to deal with that. So I want to bring awareness to depression as a whole. You know, you have Black History Month, you have Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you know, you have all this stuff, but we need to, as a YouTube community, we need to bring awareness to depression, because it is something that is very real and something that is not really talked about, because people think it's a front. People think it's to get attention. No, it's not to get attention. It's not to get attention. For some people, yes, they may do it because they don't know how to verbally say, "Hey, I need someone here for me." They may act out, but it's not for the kind of attention that you're thinking of. It's for the attention of someone saying, "Hey, I'm going through something, I need help. I don't know how to deal with this by myself. Can someone help me?" Or, "I'm emotionally broken, I need help." You never know what somebody's going through until it's too late. And then you can't do anything about it. You can't take back the things you say to somebody. But I think that's enough for right now. I might make a part 2 of this. I'm not sure. Because this is a very, very, very hard subject for me to talk about, as you can see, because it's kind of hard for me to remain focused on the camera. But I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my video. It really does mean a lot, and I hope you guys don't really judge me too much, and I hope you guys don't look at me any differently. It's just something that I feel like I had to get off of my chest before I can actually continue with me trying to pursue something on YouTube, or me trying to pursue my hobbies and my crafts, or mastering my crafts, should I say. So thank you guys. I don't know. I had a script written out, but I just felt like that was a little too corny, so I just, would rather just say how I feel. I don't know. I actually have another video I want to do. It's nothing. It's actually entertainment or news kind of thing. So stay tuned for that. But until then, stay blessed. Depression awareness. Let's make somebody's day.
Why self-life? We got London on the track.